Hello and welcome. Sorry for the late release. Next round has practically started and I'm dwelling on the past. But here's a bit of Carlton footy talk right before we focus on the game at hand. Last weekend, Brodie Kemp was inserted into the backline. A lot of people, when selection was announced, were concerned at the height of our backline. Look, if there was any game to experiment something new, it was the West Coast game. And it showed. Charlie Curnow was kicking snags for fun. It had me excited as this guy when they scored a goal to cut the lead to 84. Today, we look at Brodie Kemp's game and how this could potentially transform the things we do with our backline. Now, obviously, this is a bit outdated, but let's have a look at Brodie Kemp's draft profile. Some of his capabilities involved clean hands, versatility, overhead marking, and athleticism. On show in this game were all these things. Early on and throughout, Kemp skied over others to take intercept grabs. The versatility comes in when you look at how he performed below the knees. He won a fair bit of contested ball, did well to shield it and keep it in front of him, and for a key back, this is incredibly handy, especially for what I'll discuss later on. This isn't new to Kemp. Going back to his draft profile, he had adapted his kick-dominant game to become a handball-happy midfield extractor. And to refer to his intercept marking, he was dubbed a high-marking intercept defender coming towards the draft. Now, one thing I want to point out, Kemp would often sit behind the stoppage or the contest and get some uncontested footy. Now, in his draft profile, it was said that his delivery wavers at times when kicking on the move. And it seems a matter of consistency, as his delivery out of the back half is usually assured but not quite perfect as it stands. Now in this game we saw that fully on display and he definitely needs to improve this area. One of the kicks he sprayed was costly, some others didn't hit targets, and some, the more uncontested ones, were spot on. Obviously one area to fix. But look, Kempy being the fourth tall with the capabilities to hold his own in a one-on-one, you know, in the contest, that sort of thing, and also sky over the top for a grab can transform our team, and here's why. First, knowing that you can hold your own in a one-on-one isolated further down the ground means that you can give players like McGovern and the new addition of Cincotta more license to push forward. McGovern especially can stop the opposition attack higher up the ground before the play even begins, or get involved as we push forward in a wave. And look, if it bypasses McGovern and he doesn't make an impact, you've got Kemp, who is deeper lying to at least make a contest. The next thing is, you can be much more creative with the way you distribute yourselves as a backline cohort. You can have two talls, say McGovern and Wiedering, in one contest, and then further down the line you've got Kemp and Young. You can also have three in the contest and then have just one further down the ground and you're still covered in the air. So if it gets by the first contest, I highly doubt it if you've got three going up, but if it gets by the first contest, you've got more intercepting power at the next lot of key forwards. Obviously, it would be a lot better if you had a bit more balance, two in one contest, two in the other, or two further down the line. And oppositions, wherever they kick to a key forward, there's always going to be an interceptor present, or at least most of the time. For a West Coast team who lacked skill on the night, these decisions are tough to navigate. Now, one thing I'd like to see when we have the footy. When we kick in, sometimes the marking target is a Cripps, sometimes Harry pushes up the ground, sometimes our midfielders are thereabouts to try and take a grab. Now with all these key backs, it may seem like a missed opportunity. Get a Walsh or a Chera or a Doherty to sit in the pockets to fill the space where the key backs usually tend to sit, and send a Lewis Young, a Kemp or a McGovern to the flanks to present as an option from the kick-ins. I figure I'd rather have Cripps at ground level. A Walsh or a Chera is not really an ideal target to kick to, given we can't even hit the target when we're kicking to talls, and Harry could present an option further afield. With such height, we might as well use it, instead of them wasting away in the back pockets and not giving us a wealth of options to kick to. Overall, I'm not feeding into the narrative that Kemp is the answer. Brisbane are going to be a different beast altogether. They're going to be a more formidable forward line. Danaher, Hipwood, despite the criticism they faced, are not always shit, and Charlie Cameron is a danger. Zach Bailey, he killed us last year, and Gunston, whilst past his prime, is still capable. Will 4 talls in the long run prove too tall? Will that 4th tall give us an advantage this game? Will we operate in the same freedom as last game, where defenders weren't afraid to push up the ground, obviously with less potency for the West Coast Eagles up forward, and knowing we've got good coverage behind the ball? Time will tell. Look, I urge you to not get carried away with last week's performance. But if Kemp and the 4 key back experiment works for an extended period of time and proves to be sustainable in allowing others to flourish and keep us sturdy in the back 50 and simultaneously, then we may have something on our hands here. What are your thoughts? Let me know. We'll see you for the Carlton Brisbane analysis much earlier than this week's release. Have a good one and bye for now.